Hello everyone, and today I will be starting a new series called What If Civilization Started Over. Now, you've probably heard that before from a lot of different people, most notably Adis Pro is the one who started this idea. Now, I'm sorry for not posting in 2 days, I think. I don't know if that's not, but yeah, I'm sorry for not posting. Now, I'm going to start my own series, and hopefully it's good, and hopefully it gets a lot of views. And yeah, so let's look at this new series. On the Greek peninsula, there'll be a couple, about 100 people who will find this area, and it'll be very good to live in because Greece and a bit of Albania is very good to live in. They will start to explore a lot of land, but they haven't started a civilization just yet. But they will explore a lot of land, and yeah, they will now they will make a system where there's a leader in charge, and that leader can make people rich and all the civilization stuff. So they will start their own little civilization. This will be the red civilization, and this civilization isn't very big, but it's only they've only been here for like maybe 15 years. They will start to take a lot of land going to this thing. Well, not a lot of land, because this is only a small bit of land, but they'll take a lot of the land. What? They'll take a lot of the land that this world currently knows of. So, yeah, they're doing good. And of course, they're going to need a capital, so let's give them a capital. Their capital will be on the waters where it began, and yeah, so they're just going to start their civilization. They will start to discover more land, and eventually all of the Greek peninsula will be discovered. And yeah, life is very good for the time. I mean, their leader is very popular, he's doing what's best for the people. And yeah, life is so good. And they have a lot of money, and they only have about 100,000 people living there though. As some people aren't really interested in this red civilization, they would rather start their own civilization or not live in a civilization anyways. They will start to explore the coastal areas, and it's better than this interior land, I think. They will explore some interior land, and yeah, but something happens over here from the capital. The ship will start to sail out, and they will try and go up here to take over land, but instead of that, they end up accidentally exploring the boot of Italy. So yeah, after about a day of sailing, they land in Italy, and they don't know where they are. After sending some people out, we'll discover that this is a peninsula, so they'll send some troops, some stuff back, and the capital will send stuff here, and then prime position start exploring Italy, and yeah, they realise that this land isn't very big, and they discover this island. Then what? I hate it when that happens. Eventually, the explorers over in the Balkans will make a plan to go into Italy, and the explorers will make a plan to go into the Balkans. So, yeah, they're starting to explore a lot of land. Eventually, this plan will be set into motion as all of Italy will be discovered. And yeah, it's a good place to live. Eventually, all of the Adriatic Sea will be discovered, and they link up. They'll start to explore some more land over here, and they will also start to expand greatly, taking over a lot of the Adriatic and the boot of Italy, and eventually all of the Greek peninsula. Eventually take all this southern land of Italy, but something starts to go wrong in the Red civilization. It's not everyone's really they have a new ruler. The new ruler is kind of a tyrannical ruler. He doesn't care what the people want. A lot of people are starting to suffer from this guy because if he doesn't like you, you're just gonna be executed. So a lot of people are starting to move away from the Red civilization. Like 10,000 people will start their own little way to try find safety. Eventually, they will discover all this sand, but it doesn't really suit what they want. So they discover Turkey and all these islands. And yeah, they discover all these bits of land. Eventually decide to settle down here. So the blue team will now be formed, and they don't really want to share a border with the red team, so they won't expand much into Europe, but they will expand greatly into Turkey, taking over a lot of land, including Crete now. The red team doesn't really like this, but the blue team's leader is very strong and he works for the people, the old leader of the red team. And yeah, they will eventually start to discover more land. Wrong colour. You'll eventually start to discover more of Turkey, and eventually Cyprus is discovered, and it's found as a great place to live. Cyprus is a nice place to live, and and all this land here will be discovered, and the blue team will start to not colonize, but take over it, as they're like expansionists, but also work for the people at the monarch, which is a very good, nice little winning formula, better than the red team. And now we can look at their capital city, which will be right over here. What? It'll be right there, so you don't want to be close to the red team, and the red team will move their capital into the They'll move their capital into the Italian peninsula, as it's just better. And instead of moving it to Rome, they'll move it somewhere else. They'll move it here, as it's kind of close. It's a bit closer than Rome is. Never mind, Rome's closer. But they'll move it over here to the Adriatic. I don't know why. Anyways, though, this little blue civilization will finally have the guts to connect up with the red team, which actually goes a lot better than they expected, as the red team is willing to trade with the blue team, even though they don't really like the blue team. They're still willing to trade. And yeah, trading is now a thing between the red and the blue. Eventually, a treaty will be crafted up to take over all this land, which the blue team gets all of this, and the red team will get all of this land here, which is very good for them. So it's a lot of valuable land. And yeah, the population of the blue team's about 1 million at this point, and the population of the red team's about 2 million. And anyways, more explanations will happen, kind of hugging to the coast, but they will go into the interior here, as I don't know why they will. But eventually, there's a new place discovered, which is Crimea, and Crimea is good. Well, not in real life, not going to go over all the Crimean stuff, but they discover Crimea, and the red and the blue teams would like to get a bit of Crimea, but the red team really can't, and the blue team wants to, and the red team doesn't want them. What is happening? And the red team doesn't want the blue team to get any of Crimea, so the red team will start if the first war ever against the blues. The blue team doesn't even know what war is, so when the red team starts moving troops into their European land, the blue team will agree to peace, as they don't even have an army. And in this peace treaty, it looks something like this. So now the red team is in prime position to take over parts of Crimea. So after a brutal voyage over to Crimea, they will eventually start. They will land in the peninsula, take a lot of land. But something goes pretty bad for the red team. A new civilization is started over in Ukraine, will take the rest of Crimea. Welcome, the dark green Ukrainian country. They take the rest of Crimea, which is very bad for them, as the red team wanted it and they're not afraid to use their new army they just discovered. Well, they just made. But that isn't good, as now other countries starting to build armies like the blue team and this green team, and now war is known about. The green team will take all of this and will go on thing. Yeah, they'll discover new land. It's just easy. They'll discover more land, and now they have more land to take over. And for their capital, they will have it on the sea of Azov right here, And yeah, they're going to start expanding more. And the green team is quickly becoming not one of the largest, not the large, they're still the smallest one. They're starting to take a lot of land, which will kind of get the blue team and the red team to start taking land. To the blue team, they're going to start to take all this land here, and yeah, they take pretty much all of Turkey, but not all of Turkey. They need a bit more of Turkey to get all of Turkey. I'm on about Turkey. They take a majority of Turkey. They will also start to send explorationers out to like discover what is out there, and eventually, yeah, they won't kind of get up on the Caucasian mountains, but they're not going to be able to link up with the Greens as they're having problems with mountains too. They are able to link up with the Caspian Sea, but they're not able to go past the Iranian mountains. Eventually, though, they get into Africa, and a whole new continent has been discovered, but they don't even know what a continent is. And yeah, they'll start to discover a lot of land, and the red team will also start to discover land in Europe, not really touching the Alps so as I'm not really ready for it, but able to go a bit into the Alps. And all this land here will be discovered. And yeah, a lot of land has been discovered. And why do I keep saying discovered? I don't know, man. Anyways, they will start to discover, I said it again, they will start to find places in the Middle East, eventually linking up with the Persian Gulf. And yeah, they're not able to just take over, I'll just say something, they're not able to discover all of Arabia, but they're able to discover a lot of the coastal areas. And eventually, the blue team will take it upon themselves to start their little expansion. They'll start to expand. Just, yeah, they'll start to expand. And they're able to take a lot of land, and they're not able to link up with the Caspian Sea as they need a bit more money for that. Well, saying with all the money they've got, they're able to like take over a lot of land now, make the borders nice and pretty. I don't think pretty describes that, but whatever. They have their little land now, and eventually the Red and Ukrainians also expand. The Red team doesn't expand as much as they probably could, but that's because there's kind of an issue, which is they have a lot of land, but not they have a lot of land, but not really a lot of population. Like all this land here, there's like no one in it. It's like only Italy, the Adriatic Sea, and the Greece, which actually has people in it. All this land here, just no one's living there, and they'd rather join up with the green team or the blue team. Like, even like over here, there's just no one there. It's only like Italy, the Adriatic, and Greece that have people in it. So this land here doesn't have a lot of people, and they'd rather not be part of the red team. But anyways, in Africa, there'll be a new civilization started up, and it'll be the teal country, and that's why I had the teal colour up. They will, they will start taking over a lot of land, and they're pretty much the ancient Egyptians, but they're not. They'll take all this land, and as for their capital, guess where it'll be? It'll be pretty much where Carios, pretty much where modern Egypt's capital is. Well, they there was some other place where they were deciding to put the capital like here, 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 and here. But they chose this place as well, no, probably just a better city. And yeah, there's four civilizations now, and this civilization and the blue one eventually sort out its money problems and link up with the Caspian Sea, which will help them a lot when the Caspian Sea is discovered. And yeah, not more of like land is discovered as the countries mainly just focusing on themselves instead of discovering land. But over here, the Egyptians will start to discover a lot of the coast of Africa, and eventually they'll cross into Arabia and start to discover some land there. But not a lot, as they'd rather just stick in Africa because they're an African country. They're the only African country. They're starting to find a lot of land, and they're becoming one of the richest. Well, they are the richest civilization so far. So able to country as I don't know why they just are. Now eventually it start to expand though, and the other countries weren't really expecting this. They thought this little country here was just weak, but no, they're actually a lot stronger than anyone really thought they were, as they're able to take all of this land here, which is a good amount of land, and yeah, they're becoming really they are like probably the best country to live in because of like how much they have. Well, they don't have a lot of land, but for saying what they have, they're actually a really nice country. What? Why does this keep happening? And yeah, eventually though, Corsica and Sardinia will be discovered as the red team. Like they wanted to see if they could get to Africa, so they went out. Well, not well from there. They went out from like Rome and some sea like storms, and landed in Corsica. Then they went down to Sardinia. So they're discovered and immediately just colonised. Well, not really colonised, they're taken over by the red team. And yeah, a lot of good things is happening, but something bad will happen in the blue team. There'll be a revolution for independence. More specifically from like this area and like this area here. So let's look at said revolution. Not really revolution, just a war of independence. So of course this area here where they just linked up with the Caspian Sea, there were people living here without civilization and they'd rather not be a part of the blue team. So they'll try break away, but the blue team leader doesn't want them to break away. They'll start to fight for their independence, taking over a lot of land. Eventually the blue team's army will arrive to the war and will start to push back in the south. But over here, we're like Iraqis, another war of independence will happen. And you can really not really see this country, but anyways, they too will start to invade the blue team, and the blue team wasn't expecting this, as these revolutions actually work together and connect up, and they connect up with each other as they see that they want independence. They're gonna have to work together, even if they don't really like each other. The pink team will do a lot of work, and yeah, the blue team should probably give them independence, but they won't. And yeah, the blue team is fighting a losing battle right now. And the blue team, yeah, they should have surrendered ages ago, but now they're going to be forced to surrender as this Egyptian thing here takes over Cyprus. And that will do it for the blue team. They will surrender so they can look at a peace treaty. So in this peace treaty, the blue team loses a lot of land as the Egyptians take over Cyprus, and these two independence movements actually get a lot more land than they originally started. The pink team originally started with only this, and Iraq only started with like all this, but they get a lot more land when they probably should have. Anyways, we can look at these guys as capitals. For Iraq, it'll be like kind of where Baghdad is in real life, but not exactly at Baghdad, because Baghdad's like here, I think. I don't know. They'll just put their capital here. For the pink team, they'll put it on the Caspian Sea. It's far away as the blue team as possible. And yeah, two new countries are around, and the pink team it's not going to expand. They're going to focus on their economy. The Iraqis. I don't really know why I'm saying Iraqis because they're pretty much all of Iraq, but not really. I don't know. I'm just going to call them Iraq. They're going to take all this land meeting up with the Adriatic enjoy Persian Gulf if I can make them. So they take all this land here, which is a huge amount of... What? Why does this happen? They're gonna try take all this land. I mean, I don't know if it will happen because this keeps happening. And I don't want them to take all that. So I'm gonna have to make the borders look bad. So they take all this land and they have some weird borders now. Very weird borders. Yeah. No, they don't take that. They would like to know. Yeah, yeah, weird borders. I'll try fix it. No, can't. Sorry, they have weird borders now. And yeah, that'll pretty much do it for today's video. What if civilization started over? And wait, there'll be one more civilization starting up in Arabia. The orange team will start up with their capital in the south of their country. And yeah, this will do it for today's video. I hope you like this new series, and I'm planning to do a lot with this series as I really like it. I like the idea of like what if civilization started over, what happened. So yeah, I like this series, and yeah, expect to see more of this. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's episode. Bye everyone.